Hello, folks. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, when or wherever you may be. First of all, I'm recording this Sunday, the 12th of April, 2026, and today I decided to make a mental exercise, and specifically talking about the supposed talks that are happening between the United States and Iran. And I'm going to show you three videos, and each video is from a period in time. One is was recorded about 23 or 24 hours ago, another one 18 hours ago, and the other 2 or 3 hours ago. All right. This is Portuguese time, which is the same as the as British time in the green, because we are also in the greenish time. Okay. So, without further ado, let's watch some videos and then we can talk. The US Iranian talks in Euronews. Just before we started, we start. Please go and watch their videos and take a look at a European perspective on the matter. And remember that this video is not monetized, so I'm not making any money out of anyone's videos, so to speak. And ah, let's just watch. Okay, I think in this case it's better to watch the videos first and talk later. Let's go. Just give me a minute. And
JD Vance has flown to Pakistan to lead high-stake talks with Iran, warning Tehran that if he tries to, quote, play the US, negotiations wouldn't be receptive. Before boarding Air Force Two, the US Vice President told reporters he was looking forward to the talks.
I think it's going to be positive. We'll, of course, see. As the President of the United States said, if the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand.
Meanwhile, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer held talks with top Qatari officials on a visit to the Gulf nation on Friday, discussing what he termed the fragile ceasefire in the Iran war.
Obviously, the discussion moved very quickly to the ceasefire, a sense that it's fragile, that more work is needed, that the Strait of Hormuz has to be part of the solution, a very strong sense that there can't be tolling or restrictions on that navigation.
Also on Friday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu expelled Spain from participating in a US led international body monitoring Gaza after it had, quote, chosen repeatedly to stand against Israel. Some 200 American troops are currently working alongside the Israeli military and delegations from other countries to monitor the implementation of the US sponsored peace deal in Gaza.
all right, a lot to take in. So, first of all, let's start by the obvious. United States talking a big talk, even though they are in a position of technical defeat as we speak, because no ships are moving across the straits unless Iran lets them. And as the English say, the proof is in the pudding, right? So this is obviously what is happening. All right. Now, uh, let's just briefly address the other things that were came out with Netanyahu expelling Spain from the group of their mocked peace plan, because to me that is not a peace plan. Okay, that is alongside with the other apartheid type measures by the Israeli state, a way of putting some coat of paint on the genocide plan in Gaza. Because you see, we all remember the work camps of the Third Reich, where the Jews were all happy and glad to be contributing to society, living in clean ideas. And then later on, we all discovered that they were shot, they were murdered, they were worked to death, and then, as a final sign of humiliation, put into ovens and burnt. To me, this is the early stages of that. So, as for whatever Israel, I'm not going to personalize things. Whatever this Israeli government is trying to put out, I don't believe in them. I don't believe in their peace plans. I don't believe in their intentions. I don't believe a word that comes out of their mouths because they are constantly lying. And once a liar, always a liar. But let's go back to this to the subject that I'm trying to talk about in this video, which is, so as you can see, this is the first video. Mr. Vance is all happy and get going and all strong Americans saying they better not fool us, and they go into this peace plan, peace talks, so to speak. Now, let's watch the next one. US and Iranian officials, 18 hours ago, US and Iranian officials began a high-stakes peace talks in Pakistan to resolve the war.
Negotiations are ongoing between the US and Iran on Saturday, with hopes of converting the 2-week truce into lasting peace after progress was made in earlier indirect discussions. Three-party talks with the US, Iran and Pakistan began after a reduction in Israeli strikes on southern Lebanon and other preconditions being met, according to Iranian media. US Vice President J.D. Vance is leading the US delegation, while the Iranian delegation is led by Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Kalibaf. Meanwhile, on Saturday, Trump said that the US had started clearing out mines from the strait as a favor to other countries of the world. The US said that 2 of its Navy vessels had passed through the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday, but Iranian state media earlier said that Iran forced a US military ship that was attempting to cross the strait to turn around.
Let's start just for the last part of this video. You want to know what happened to that American ship that tried to cross the straits? They told to fuck off. The Iranians told them, if you continue to try and cross, we are going to sink your ship. We are going to attack you. And you want to know what they did? And it was, I believe it was not just one ship, it was 3 ships. They turned back. Okay? This is what happened to those ships. I saw it confirmed in French and German news also. They talked about it. And also here in Portuguese news. This is what happened to that ship. And now, the first part of the video, as we can see, Mr. Vance arrives. A lot of politeness, but not a warm welcome, to put it mildly. But nonetheless, very polite. You saw the way the Iranian delegation was received, with a natural. You think it's very excessive, perhaps, that entire kissing thing and all of that, but look, that is a thing that is also common, for example, here in Portugal. Not so common when it comes with politicians, but family members, even if they are both male, we greet each other with a kiss. You know, I kiss my uncles kiss me, I kiss my cousins, they kiss me. It varies according to the degree of trust, of intimacy that you have with the person, with a family member, but sometimes cousins are a bit like brothers, and your uncles are a bit like fathers. I know that I raised 2 nephews. So it's, as for that, that is cultural. But there is a sincere wish in the part of the Pakistani, from what I am seeing, to make some peace, because this entire situation is bad for everyone, including Pakistan. Pakistan is already having its problems with the Afghans and the Taliban and all of that shit. They don't, and India, this has been going on for so many years, so they need a bit of stability in the region, and they are seeing that Iran won the war, but they are trying to play their part and serve as a platform in which Americans and Iranians can talk, although I think it's useless, because the only way this war is going to end is for everyone to reach some kind of compromise of giving Iran some kind of guarantee that no one is going to attack them, and they should have the strait cleared. Let me be clear about this. I don't believe there should be any kind of toll in a strait. To me, those have to be international waters. But if Iran wants to say, we are going to keep these waters clear, but you are not going to attack me, you are going to promise, you are going to give me international guarantees, and I don't believe in the United States, you need to bring other people to enforce this peace, meaning they want the United States to clear or at least diminish their military presence in the region so they cannot freely attack Iran. And as I said, I don't like Iran, but they are right. What would you do? This is exactly what I always tell someone when they start to talk about that. What would you do? Okay? Now, let's continue. Let's watch the next one and the last one. It's just 3 little videos.
The United States and Iran have failed to reach an agreement at the end of a historic face-to-face talks in Pakistan's capital, Islamabad. Vice President J.D. Vance, who led the U.S. delegation, said the talks lasted 21 hours, but in the end, they did not see an affirmative commitment from Iran that they will not seek a nuclear weapon.
The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could, and they have chosen not to accept our terms.
According to Iranian media, the three-party talks began after Iranian preconditions, including a reduction in Israeli strikes on southern Lebanon. Despite the outcome, which leaves uncertainty over a fragile 2-week ceasefire, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar said it was imperative that the parties continue to uphold their commitment to a ceasefire in the war.
All right. Now, my friends, let's talk a bit. This was cosmetic. You want to know what happened in these talks? In these talks, they said, both parties, exactly how far they are willing to go and how far they are willing to go in their compromise. And as you can see by the end of the video, Israel is still invading Lebanon. I don't call it as military intervention, I call it an invasion. This is what is happening. Israel is invading Lebanon. It's displacing populations, it's expelling people from their homes, it's assassinating people, it's murdering civilians. This is what Israel is doing. And I will probably see a lot of comments say, well, Israel has to protect itself against Hezbollah and this and that. Okay, that is all fine and dandy. But what are they doing to the civilian populations? Expelling them. What did they do in Palestine? They expel populations. What are they doing in Gaza? They are expelling populations. They are building settlements. they are occupying more and more land, and they have now they are evolving to some kind of apartheid system that already existed, but now is even more violent, because now a Palestinian can be put to death if he defies the current order, meaning Palestinians are now second-rate humans in the eyes of the Israeli state. But then again, that was exactly what they were considered. And if you are a Christian, or of Christian origins, or a Christian state like me, for example, and you are watching me right now, even if you are an American, then my friends, you are considered as a second-rate citizen by the Zionists in Israel. They are the elected people, they are the good people, and we are dogs, animals for them. A little bit above animals. This is what we are. We are good to be explored, we are good to do their work, but we are not good enough to be amongst the elected people. Because you want to know what? All of these people that have these odd ideas, when it comes to being the, and we talked about this in another video, when people have this idea of being a part of an elected few, what can I say? People are stupid if they think like that. You want to know what we all are? We are all hairless apes. Some of us more hairy than the others. Okay, that evolved from a different from a species of ape that was a bit more smarter than another species of ape, and that started to evolve and create what we would call sentience, meaning we are aware of the place where we are aware of where we live, we think, we reason. This is what we are. No human is superior to another human, regardless of their morphologic composition, their shade of melanin, the color of their hair, of their eyes, whatever. We are just different because we evolved in different environmental conditions. But there is no elected people. There is no sons of a god. Elected. Oh, yes, yes. We are the elected people. We have, and then you have the American Christian right wing. Oh, yes, we have to protect them. No, we have to protect humans. Period. We have to protect people. We have to protect civilians. The cat entered the room. Okay? That is exactly what we have to do. And not persist in this idea of having special elites and special people and special shit. And as for this entire Iranian saying, sorry, it's the kitty. As for this entire Iranian saying, Iran clearly told them what they wanted. United States said what they can do. And then they both marched back to their respective domes of power to decide what they can or they cannot do. Okay? This is exactly what happened here. And I am tired of listening to people looking at this as this was this kind of the big United States, they are going to invade Iran if they do this and they do that. Look, the United States can invade Iran. Yes, it can. But will it do them any good? No. It will destroy their entire economy, just like it has already destroyed. Because you see, my dear Americans, what you have to understand, this is something that I can put in words that you can understand as a supposedly very competent capitalist society. And this is it. Would you invest in the United States if you were an American citizen, an European citizen, with the shit that Vance has been doing in Hungary? And I'm going to make a video about that too. Would you go to the United States or invest in the United States, considering what they are doing to the European Union, considering what they are doing to our states, considering what they are threatening us with, because the dumb fuck is still threatening to invade Greenland? Would you deal with these kind of people? Look, and I'm going to be absolutely clear, because I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding in the way I speak and in the way I talk. about Americans this and Americans that. Look, let me be absolutely clear and blunt about this. Let me just. Sorry, folks, but my kitty, she keeps coming into to the room today. Today she's very needy. She wants treats. She wants hugs. Okay. And as I sometimes say, I think I'm her pet, not the other way around. But let me be absolutely clear about this, because you Americans have to understand this. Europeans are not hostile to American people. Okay, we don't want to attack the American people. We don't want to beat you. We don't want to physically harm you or insult you or whatever. No, what you are seeing are just reactions to your own actions. If an American person comes here into Europe and then they start complaining about everything, and most of the times complaining about things that are not like in their hometowns, like for example, this simple example that I came across, and that a friend of mine that and as you know, I have told you this, I have friends and family that work in the tourist business. But this was a friend of mine that I talk with usually, usually almost every weekend. Okay, we meet and we have a coffee and we talk a bit, just just to, as we say, understand what is happening in our each other's lives. We have that degree of intimacy. But and she works in the tourist business, and the simple fact that an American tourist is unable to understand and do what other patrons do when they enter in the restaurant, that is, when you want your bill so that you can pay and leave, you just do this, or you go to the counter and you ask for your bill and the bill is provided to you. Just the fact that they don't understand that the person that is serving you your food or whatever you are acquiring, the product you're acquiring, is not your slave, that they don't have to continuously smile, that they don't have to laugh at your jokes, uh, be very servile to you, because they are being paid a living wage and they are working for the person that owns the establishment. They are not working for you, and that the customer is not always right. Just this simple fact tells me a lot of what the American character is. And this is what causes you to sometimes have a bad time around here. Like a girl that I talked about her in another video because it really annoyed me. Because even I, as a Portuguese citizen, know exactly what was happening. She goes into a cafe and she wants a croissant with chocolate. And the lady, of course, tells her, no, we have regular croissants and we have pain de chocolat, which is the same. It's the same type of pastry, only it takes chocolate inside. And sometimes it takes strawberry. It's filled with a lot of things, okay? If you come here to Portugal, for example, you will have the pain au chocolat, we give it another name, and you will also have a lot of croissants. That some are simple because a lot of people like the croissant with some cheese and some ham or whatever inside, all right, or some other thing that you like. Some people like it plain. Then you have other croissants that have egg custard filling, that have chocolate filling, that have fruit filling, whatever, cream filling. But this is here. But if you go to France, you will find establishments where they indeed have those types of croissants too. But usually in a normal French cafe, you have the bloody croissant that you eat and you dip in your coffee or your milk coffee or your chocolate milk or whatever, and you eat. And if I go to France, and when I go to France, I haven't gone there in a long time. Look, my friends, I'm going to eat. I'm going to see what the what is available for me to purchase. I will purchase it and I will shut the fuck up. Because the people there, they do not have to, and they should not have to, tend to your every needs. If she wanted the bloody croissant with chocolate, and the establishment didn't have it, she should take that little chocolate, take it home, open it up, put some Nutella on it, and eat it. And this is how you Americans need to understand. This is how you need to behave here. If we do things in a certain way, do as we do or fuck off. We don't have to be continuously smiling. As I told you in other videos, to me, a person that is always smiling is either trying to fool me or is an imbecile. And I'm not talking about the friendly smile that you have when you get to know someone or whatever. No, not talking about this. I'm talking about the simple fact that when I go into the restaurant, I expect competence. I expect the person that is serving me to serve me what I want to eat, and I expect them to fuck off and leave me alone, because this is the way it is here. For example, if you have been in the restaurant for many hours or whatever, or too long, you may be approached by a server. Usually it's not the server, it's the owner of the establishment or something, and say, look, I'm sorry fellas, but we are going to have to vacate this table. You have been here since lunchtime, okay? So please, I ask you to clear the table as soon as you can. This can happen. This will happen, okay? But when I go to a restaurant, and I haven't gone into a restaurant in a long time because, ever since COVID, it's one of the consequences of COVID. I have lost that habit of going into a restaurant, and besides that, it's expensive. Okay, it's not something that you would do every day if you want to save some money. But I expect to sit at the table, to ask for the menu, to see whatever I want to buy, to give it to the server, to ask them to bring me what I want to eat, and I expect things to be clean and to be organized. I expect to sit down, my plate is clean, okay? I don't expect a waiter to immediately come with a jar of water. If I ask for water in a restaurant, I don't ask for bottled water. If we, for example, imagine this, you are thirsty or you need a glass of water to take some medicine, like I see countless time happen. You can ask, look, can you please bring me a glass of tap water? Okay, I need to take some medicines or whatever, or my mouth is very dry and I need to drink some water before I start to have my wine or my soft drink or my beer or whatever. This is how you do it. If you ask for a water, you will get a bottled water that is usually much more expensive than buying water from a supermarket or something like that. And you keep seeing these videos of Americans going into restaurants, oh, they didn't bring me my water, and this and that, and they were not there to. They are not there to be your bloody slaves. You have a bloody mouth, use it. This friend that I'm talking about, that works in a restaurant, she's bloody tired of American tourists. Around here in Europe, for example, the hardest tourists to put up with, sorry fellas, I have to tell you this, are the British. British or English tourists are a bloody, sometimes can be really annoying. Okay? But you Americans, you are 10 times worse than the British. And even the British, after Brexit especially, I think it taught them a bit of a lesson, and now they behave a bit better. At least here in Portugal. I don't know how it is in Spain. But Americans, again, you will only be targeted if you transform yourselves into a target. Look, if you say you are an American, you might get that look. And if you want to protect yourselves, I would suggest saying something like, "Look, I didn't vote for the lunatic. Okay, I'm just here to work and to obey the laws in your country. I'm not here to for any political reasons. I really don't even care about politics." If you say it like this, and most of the times people will treat you well. If you go like that dumb girl into a restaurant and you ask for your croissant and you ask if you say this, for example, uh, can I get one of these with chocolate, or do you have anyone? And someone points at you and says, "The you have the pain au chocolat." Very well. "Oh, can I have this with ham or cheese?" And she will tell you, "Well, you have to ask for this." This is how things will process. But if you go, "I want you to put chocolate in this," the server has no obligation to even talk with you. They don't even have the obligation to talk with you in English. As I said in the past, I speak a lot of languages. But whenever people start to annoy me or they are annoying at start, I will only answer in two languages, English and German. In German, I have to be in the disposition to speak it. Das ist mein Problem, das ist nicht unser Problem. Alright? It's my problem. I will only answer you in Portuguese if you start to annoy me. Why? Because I have no look. I look at I look at knowing how to speak different languages as a tool. Like me doing this, making this video and talking with you, and anyone in Europe, in Asia that speaks English or understands it at least at the basic level can understand what I am saying. And yes, I have my accent, and of course, everyone has their accent. The English that speak English have their accent. The Scottish have their accent. The Americans have their accent. The Australians have their accent. And to all of them, that is not an accent. That is how they speak the language. That is another thing that annoys me. The fact that Americans many times pretend to not understand the accent. So if you start to speak like this, for example, oh man, you're so posh, I can't understand the word you're saying. Or if you're an Australian and you start to talk like this, mate, so quaint, so nice. You want to Foster's and put a shrimp in the lobby? Oh, for God's sakes. Oh, fuck off. Mr. Vance is acting exactly like these people. He's acting like a spoiled idiot brat that doesn't look at the facts and see Iran can block the bloody straits. Iran is blocking the bloody straits. Iran is causing havoc in the world. And we need to solve this. Okay? And the United States will have to make concessions because the United States has lost this war. Even if the United States invades right now, it will have lost this war. And if you cannot understand this, then you are a fool. And I will tell you to try to understand why am I saying this. All of these actions have destroyed your standing in the world. When you start acting like your president start acting, these are not things that will be solved by a next Democrat president or whatever. These are things that are going to persist in time. These are consequences that are going to persist in time, and you better get used to it. The first thing you have to do is to accept what is happening. The second thing you have to do is to start fighting for your rights in whatever means you feel necessary. I, by principle, never support violent action. You want to know why? Because violent action only provokes more violence. If you are a violent person, you will receive what you are giving to others. And bombing and killing, like Israel is doing, like the terrorists, so-called terrorists, are also doing, but I can understand them. It's like kicking a dog and expecting the dog not to turn on you and bite your ass. It's the same thing. It's the same bloody logic. You have to stop mixing religion and ethics into it. You have to stop calling people anti-Semite when they say bad things about Israel, because I have personally talked with Jewish people that have told me the exact same thing. They have told me this: when you are criticizing Israel, you are not being anti-Semite. And you are not being anti-Semite for criticizing the actions of Israel. If I look at Israel and I see the actions they are taking in Palestine, when I see the actions they are taking in Lebanon, they are being pricks. They have the right to defend themselves. Of course they have. But they do not have the right to take over other people's lands and use it as an excuse. Because the way this is going, if they get their way, you want to know what is going to happen in 5 or 6 years? They are going to have installed themselves in those lands and say, we have been here for this many years, now we cannot leave. You want to know what this is? This is land grab. And this lunatic in Israel right now, he's destroying the future of the Israel's existence itself. Because instead of making compromises, instead of creating effective defense, they are only creating new enemies. And this is what the United States is doing right now. They are creating new enemies. And anyone that is associated with them is being labeled an enemy too. The actions of the United States and Israel in the world are endangering us all. They are endangering me, my country, my family, my way of life. Because some kind of one lunatic wants to do a land grab, another lunatic wants to win money and is annoyed because he only got a Nobel Peace Prize that was given to him by an idiot that lost all of the credibility in my eyes, even if she is the descendant of Portuguese people. Corina Machado, she lost all value in my eyes by doing that. Ego, greed, and stupidity. Because a lot of people are earning a lot of money because of this. Europe, Mr. Trump keeps talking, but Europe replaced their supplies of LNG and gas of oil and LNG from Russia with the United States and other countries. So now the United States oil companies and gas companies are earning millions by selling overpriced oil to Europe, when the American state should be paying those bills. Okay? The USA is causing problems in Europe. It's causing what is happening in Ireland. It's causing me to pay more when I go to the gas pump here. Each time I go to the gas pump, I find a new reason to hate the United States. And if I control myself, like I was telling you, with American tourists, for example, with American residents, if I control myself and I know how to make the difference between the people and the state, you will find more and more a lot of people that won't. And this scares me, honestly. This scares me because I see people, a lot of them that are honest people, that want to make a better life for themselves. All of these American immigrants, expats, that is another shit term that I don't use. You're not a bloody expat. You're an immigrant. Just like any other. You are an immigrant, just like the Brazilian and the South Americans that work here and the Africans that work here and live here in my country, you are a bloody immigrant. Stop it. You are not a bloody expat. That does not exist. That is a term created to somehow separate yourselves from the other immigrants. If you are living in a country that is not your own, that where you were not born, you are an expat. Is that what you're saying? No. You're an immigrant. Immigrant. Learn it. That is another thing you should do. Don't call yourselves an expat in Europe. Don't call yourselves an expat. Even if other Europeans call themselves expats, don't do that. That is my advice. Now, are these talks going to produce anything? I don't know. I don't know. I am going to be honest with you. I don't know. What I do know is that it's not going to be a military action that is going to cause this to be resolved. Because Israel is not stopping. And until the United States control their little dog and tell them to stop this shit, nothing is going to change. And I personally appeal to the democratic forces inside of Israel to, my friends, take care of your country. He is destroying it. He is destroying it. He is endangering the future of you and your families. He's endangering every Jewish person in this planet. This is what is happening. No one is a friend tells you when you are wrong. A friend is not someone that tells you all that you do is good. A friend tells you, my friends, don't do this. You are doing it wrong. And now step back and listen to who has been telling you, no, don't do that. No, that is not the way to do it, my friend. Please don't do that. Europe has been telling you this. Germany has been telling you this. A lot of us have been, and we are trying to be supportive. Okay? And we understand you were attacked by terrorists. Okay? But before you did what you did, you would have to think, why did they do it? Okay? Because I'll tell you this. Netanyahu is going to die someday. Just like anyone. And you will receive the inheritance. And did you see those people with that little noose celebrating? Is that who you want to command your destiny? The destiny of your children. Look at your children, if you have them. Look at your children. Is that the destiny that you want for them? Look, this video has spiraled into something else, but I hope it was at least informative, because that was the purpose of it. Thank you all for listening to me for my video, and I want you to take my words as I spoke them. Don't try to transform it into something else. Don't come into my bloody comment sections. Give me the work of erasing those comments, calling people anti-Semite, because I'm not a bloody anti-Semite. I don't want the destruction of Israel. I don't want anything of that. Nothing. I don't want Israeli people to be murdered. I don't want any of that shit. I want this fucking thing to stop. There is a two-state solution. Use it. You want to put a bloody wall between yourselves and the Palestinians, then do it. Put a bloody wall. Isolate yourselves from them. Stop not giving a crap about them. Protect your borders and say, you don't pass. Okay? Solve yourselves. But for God's sakes, stop this. I'm saying, for God's sakes, stop this. And understand this: you are not some kind of holy cow, holy people. That does not exist. You are an ape, just like the rest of us. A bloody ape, a simian. Be logic. Stop this shit. Sorry. Thank you all for listening to me, and I hope you have a great day. And please stay safe.